So what you will need to do, this may seem basic, I apologize. Where it says courses, you get a little drop down. When you go through and push that button, or click, where's my mouse? There it is. Pull that, you should see all the courses you're enrolled in. So these are all the courses that I'm dealing with this semester. You want the Chem 130 class for this argument. And that's what you should get immediately as the home page, which there's really nothing there except maybe the announcements. Okay. You could just as easily select the announcements, which gives you a little bit more information, assuming the internet works. And we've got 3 main announcements. We've got the welcome, which, good for you, this is the first semester I had like 13 or 14, was it 15 replies to that announcement. I thought that was kind of funny. And yeah, I thought that was neat. Then quiz 2. That has all the information for quiz number 2. It looked to me like I had 30 responses in my email to that, so we're missing a good 20 students. So I'll make sure you get that sent to me. Both the online quiz and that quiz number 2, that email submission, will count as quiz points. So if you don't want to do them, that's fine. You're just getting a 0 on them, and that could hurt your grade later. Okay. And then the most recent post that I just put up there is the lecture video links. All of the lecture videos recorded throughout the semester will get posted to this single announcement. Okay. So what I will do is update it each week or twice a week with each of the videos that gets posted in there. Okay. I did set up a little link so you don't have to go through Canvas. You could go directly to YouTube. The channel name is CGC Chem Mike. And then you want to make sure you find the correct playlist. So let's see if that link actually works. Look at that. I did something right. Really exciting page. You can tell I spent a lot of time on it. At the top of it, you've got all the general uploads as they go in. You probably don't want to sort through those. Yours are probably going to be in there, but all of my classes are in there. What you'll probably want to do is look for the course playlists, or the created playlists, and filter it out that way. That will get you closer to just what's been happening this semester. Those of you overzealous types that are like, I don't want to wait for him to talk about the stuff that we're dealing with this semester, I want to look further ahead. I've got every single time I've taught my courses posted up here. Okay? So I just taught Chem 130 last fall, so I've got 29 videos up for that. You could look at the entire lecture for last semesters already if you really wanted to. Remember, these are strict lecture recordings, which means none of this 5 to 10 minute video nonsense. These are an hour to 75-minute videos. For those of you that are not aware, there is a fancy button on these that most students don't seem to acknowledge, and I will freely admit in my own video watching it's probably true, that if we went through to watch the video, what do we got? Oh, this one's too short. That's 10 minutes. We could probably stomach 10 minutes. There we go, 54 minutes. Oh God, that's awful. I gotta listen to Mike for 54 minutes a second time. And yes, I'm not like doing this either. Let's see, can I get audio coming out of this?
Right side. That's what's up.
And so we get audio coming out of it as well. Yippee. Not horrible, not great. So you can go through and watch those videos as well. Okay? In theory, I'm getting better, so it probably makes sense to rewatch the lectures from this semester. But who knows? You may decide that that is too long to watch, and so you just give up and don't watch it. You could watch it for 10 minutes, because that's roughly our attention span when it comes to YouTube, and hit pause. The video stops. 2 hours later, you can come back and be like, play. You're right back at it. Okay. Neat little feature. Might be worth considering investing in, entirely up to you. I fully understand if you don't want to take advantage of that, but I'm just saying. Okay. The other thing that I found, and I'll turn the audio up for this
To
again.
the left of it, what do we see?
Maybe.
A 0. Do we know anything about that 0, whether it's significant or
We
not?
go over to the settings.
No. So looking at that 0 first.
We go to speed, because 50 minutes is a really long
The
time.
next 0.
YouTube has now come up
What
with
is
double
immediately
speed.
to the left of it? Nothing. What does that mean? That number is not, or that 0 is not significant. Well, the next 0. What is it?
So instead of being 50 minutes, you got 25 minutes of lecture watching, which might speed that up, make it a little bit easier to deal with, particularly if you're reviewing for an exam.
We take anything short that you make mean something and we completely change your perspective. For instance, spontaneous. Someone spontaneously. A person.
And I thought I talked slowly. So just be aware that's kind of what you have available to you. Questions about the YouTube stuff? Okay, one last thing on Canvas. So that was all just to deal with our announcements. The next things that you may go through and check out, we've got the discussion boards. Because I'm the instructor, we may only be looking at the instructor view here, but theoretically you can open a discussion. If you had questions on something, you could open one up there. I will open discussions, at least 3 this semester, probably within a week of each of the exams. Okay? I do not post answers to exams, but if you or one of your classmates sends me your answers, particularly digitally, makes it a little bit easier, I will copy and paste your digital answers to a discussion board without your name, so it'll be anonymous. You can do it on your own if you want to. And then I will respond to each of the wrong answers. Okay? I will not tell you the answer is correct, but I will only respond to the wrong answers. Make sense? Okay. So you can figure out correct answers one way or another. Okay. Grades. Grades will look entirely differently for you because I've got everybody in here. Oh, shoot, there's actual grades in there. Go away. Go away. Shoot, no, that was dumb. Stupid. Okay, so there's grades. It'll just show all of your grades. It won't show anybody else's grades. It'll just show yours. I don't know what people does, so let's not worry about it. Does it really? I'm afraid to click it and get another grade. The next, probably the only relevant thing here would then be files. Files is going to have everything useful in it. You'll notice the very first thing in there is the syllabus, and I think that's because it organizes alphabetically. So clicking the syllabus link on the left is just going to take you to this PDF. Right? So you can download the syllabus from there. The next couple files that we've got there that might be kind of relevant to point out would be number 1, elements for memory. What do you think that's about? There are certain elements that you should know. We haven't talked about what elements are, all that fun stuff, but that's the big pictures on our walls. Okay, that's our periodic table of the elements. There are certain elements that you will use more frequently than others. Because you're going to use them frequently enough, you should memorize them. Okay? That's what this table gives you. Okay? It's roughly half of the total elements, probably 40 to 50 of them. Okay? The next one says homework suggested, Chem 130. This is the file to which I alluded, I believe I did Tuesday. This is where you can find questions out of your 7th edition textbook referencing things that I think would be helpful for review. Okay? There are a sizable amount of questions for that, more than enough for all of the required homework I've got. The next thing we've got are our lectures. All of the lecture PowerPoints will get posted there. Okay? You will probably see 4 or 5 files because they're going to go in units. You'll have Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3, Unit 4, and my least favorite, which is why it's in its own special unit, nomenclature. Okay? The next folder, we've got writing assignment stuff. Might as well just take a look at some of these. The writing assignment stuff folder has several reports about different elements in different formats. So we've got an autobiography example, a story example, just a general facts example, and a couple other stories and just kind of fact sheets. all of these examples passed, but I did not assign grades to any of them for visible reasons. Okay? So you can look at them, get a feel for what other people were doing for the element assignment to get you more comfortable with what you need to do. Okay? Questions about that? Okay. Last thing I want to do, if we look at the suggested homework, maybe, there it is. So we've got it separated according to the individual units, okay, and then broken down in chapters, and then you can see I've listed out questions or number references for each of those. You'll notice that under most circumstances I've selected which common pattern of numbers. The odds, because you have the answers in the back of the book. Okay, that's why I picked them. You can do the evens just as easily, you just don't have the answers to check yourself on. Okay. Next thing we'll point out, while I have that for the PSS chapter and chapter 2, how many questions are identified for chapter 1 and chapter 3? None. Any ideas why? Who read chapter 1 already? Good, thank you. What kind of questions would I ask out of chapter 1?
It's mostly vocabulary and history.
It's a bunch of vocabulary, not quite nonsense, but pretty darn close. There isn't really anything for me to ask you to do to show work. And that's really what I want out of the homework, is showing work. Who's read chapter 3 already? Okay, so you ished on that, so let's ish on that. What's in chapter 3?
It talks about matter and energy.
More vocabulary, kind of nonsense stuff, nothing to really show work for. Okay. So those first 2 chapters, there's not a lot for me to go through in grade. Even if we go into the PSS in chapter 2, there isn't a whole lot for me to look at. You'll probably be writing down the answer, because the question will be, what year was Einstein born in? I could care less. Okay. But you could look back in the text. They're just trying to prove that you read it. Okay. That's kind of the feel for the first homework unit. This makes a lot of students queasy about strict requirements. If you need strict requirements, you should probably come and talk to me, because that's going to require a lot more effort on my part. Okay? I'm just trying to see that you're doing some kind of work and you're writing something down. That is the goal of the homework. Yes? Okay. Any other questions?
And the homework's due every 2 Fridays, you said?
The homework is due every even week. This being our first week would be an odd week. Next week would be an even week, second week. Okay? So that's our pattern. So starting next week, homework's due on Friday at 5 p.m. Every other week thereafter, homework's due. Okay? I don't care if it's a holiday. I don't care if it's the last day of the semester. That's when homework's due. Okay? If you miss an official homework due date, you can turn in an odd week homework to kind of make up for it, but you only get half credit on it. Okay? So if you miss the first homework assignment due next week, you can do 2 odd weeks worth of homework to replace that score. Kind of get it? So the average for our homework score should be, I'd like 100, that's a good number. Okay? Questions about any of that?